Hello guys and welcome to part 2 of the Alien Shooter game tutorial. Today we are going to be taking our first look at the code behind our game. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is I want to point out a huge mistake that I made in the last video when we were creating the sprites, and it was that we did not make the sprite take up the whole place. And the reason why this is a problem is because the sprite's hitbox. Okay, so what is a hitbox, right? A hitbox is basically anything around the sprite, right? If it collides with another sprite, it'll indicate, oh, I got hit. So if it's this small, even if it's this small, you think, oh wow, this is, so if I shoot the laser and if the laser goes here, boom, the laser should disappear, right? But actually, once the laser reaches here, it disappears. Like it goes like beep, like that. Shoot and then it disappears. That's because the hitbox is actually, the hitbox of this meteor is actually this entire area right here. So we need to make sure we position this properly and make it really, really big so that it fits our hitbox. Tiny bit, like that. Okay. Try to position it in the center and as big as possible, and then we change the size right here to like 10. Where did it go? I think I made it too high. Let me make it 50. 10 is a bit too big. I'm gonna go with 8. I think 8 is okay. We're gonna do the same thing for the ship, right? And the same thing for the lasers. So let's make this big, big, big. Let's give it a size of 15. Same thing here. Let's make the lasers big, big, big. The problem with these lasers, I think, is we have to probably make them a tiny bit higher, like that. But don't worry, it should look fine when you make them like 8. Same as the meteorite, right? And if we position these lasers, let's make them a bit further apart. I think this is okay. This is pretty good. Okay, so now all the hitboxes are corrected. We can start with our code. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on the player's movements as well as, the player shooting bullets. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so right now I have a when start is clicked button. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to focus on the ship's movements. And what I like to do with my code is I like to create groups of blocks for each thing, right? So think about it as a puzzle piece. Okay, we have 3 functions. We don't know what they do yet, right? But we can, or actually we do know what they do, but we don't know how it works, right? For example, initialize ship. I'll tell you this basically sets all the variables to its correct positions. Like it moves the ship back to its correct position. If the ship is hiding, it shows it. It sets the bullet speed and the reload time back to its original position, all of that stuff. Okay. Check ship movement will basically be forever checking the ship's movement to see, if they press the right arrow key, they move right. If they press the left arrow key, they move left. And then check if bullet fired basically means, okay, whenever we press the space key, can we fire or not? And if we don't check, if you don't have a reload time, then basically we can shoot infinite bullets. But we want like a reload time, right? So every 1 second we can shoot a bullet or something like that. Okay. So let's put these puzzle pieces together. So when start is clicked, first we want to initialize the ship. Okay, obviously. And then we want to use a forever statement after that. So basically we're going to forever check if we should move the ship, and we're going to forever check if we fire a bullet or not. Now, let's take a look at these functions one by one. Okay, so now we have the initialize ship function. If you're confused about how to make a block, you just click make a block right here, name the block, and click OK. Don't worry about these yet. So we have a initialize ship function. Okay, so whenever we click the start button, we initialize the ship. What this means is we show the ship, right? So let's write this down, okay? First, we show the ship, then we move the ship to the middle, and then finally set all variables to their correct numbers. Okay. Now you might be noticing something. We have a variable called time left. I didn't create this in the last video, but I'll show you what that does in this video. And this basically allows us to, you know, check to see if we are ready to fire a bullet or not. Okay? But first, let's look at ship's movement. And actually, this should be the easiest part of this lesson. Okay? So let's take a look at it. Okay, so here is the ship's movement, okay? And it's very, very, very simple. It's like all the other videos you've seen. If key right arrow is pressed, then we change X by ship speed, right? And ship speed right now is 10. So whenever you want to make it faster or slower, you can just increase ship speed. And then left arrow, basically, we're going in the opposite direction, so the negative direction, right? Because negative means this way, positive means that way. If we're doing this in the Y direction, positive means going up, negative means going down, right? So, but right now we don't want the ship to move up and down, only left and right. And then what D and A is for is a lot of you guys, you know, if you're playing Minecraft or Fortnite or anything like that, you have the WASD keys. So I also made support for that. So you can use A and D or the right or left arrow keys. Now, the hardest part of this ship code right now is the bullet. How does that work? How do we, you know, check to see if we've reached a point where we can, you know, fire a bullet? Let's take a look. Okay, so we have our final function for the ship, and it's called check if bullet fired. Here, what we're doing is whenever this is called, right? So this is forever, right? So this keeps on getting called and called and called and called. So right now we're checking if bullet is fired. We decrease time left by -1. So every time this is called, time left goes down and down and down and down. What is time left? Right now it's 0, okay? Which is, you might be wondering, that's kind of weird. We're going to the negatives? Well, let's take a look, okay? So we change time left by -1. And then whenever we press the space key, if time left is less than 0, what does this mean? If the time left for us to reload, right? So 20, it's not really seconds, but right now our reload time is 10. So 10 ticks, or let's call them milliseconds, right? 10 milliseconds have passed. Now we can finally fire again. So if time left is less than 0, meaning 10 seconds have passed, we can set time left to reload time. Okay, so let's take a look at this, right? Here, look at my bar up here, okay? So right now our reload speed is 0, okay? Then after a while, then our reload speed will be -1. And since -1 is less than 0, we set time left, which is right now -1, we set it equal to reload time, and reload time will always be 10, okay? So now, let's say we press space again. 10 minus 1 equals 9, right? And since 9 is greater than 0, we cannot fire yet. Okay? Hopefully in text it makes a bit more sense. But basically every 10 seconds or every 10 milliseconds we can fire. And whenever we fire, we broadcast a message. So remember broadcasts, guys. If you don't remember those, go back and watch that video. We broadcast fire bullet. What does that do? Well, this is the second part of this video where we take a look at how to make our bullet shoot. Okay, so right now we are in our lasers or our bullet sprite. So we're doing the basic stuff here. We're setting bullet speed to 10. And then we're going to hide it because, you know, this is actually going to be our initial bullet, right? But every time we fire a bullet, we are actually going to do something new. You haven't seen this yet, but we are going to be creating a clone of the bullet. Create a clone of myself. This is where things get cool. Every single time we fire, You know, our actual bullet is hidden somewhere, but then we create a bullet, right? And then we shoot it. Okay? So when I start as a clone, right? We're going to shoot the bullet. Now, what does the shoot bullet function do? Well, let's think about it, right? The bullet is somewhere random, so we need to move the bullet to the ship. We also need to, you know, since it's hidden, we need to show it, right? And then finally, we need to make it keep on going up and up and up until two things happen. Either we hit the meteorite, or we hit the wall, you know, the wall up there, and then we just completely get rid of it, you know? And that's the cool thing with clones. We can actually delete the clone, but the original will still be there. Okay, so let's take a look at this shoot bullet function, and this is probably going to be the hardest part of the video, so make sure you understand this part. If you do, then you'll be able to create a lot of cool, you know, bullets. You don't have to create like a boring bullet like I did, you know. So let's take a look at it. Okay, let me reorganize this, and I think you can see it better here. So let's take a look at this in order. Okay, like this. So it goes initialize bullet, create a clone of myself. When I start as a clone, shoot the bullet. We define shoot bullet here. First we show, like we said, and then we go to the ship. And then here's something I forgot to mention. We also start the sound pew. So if you don't remember what pew sounds like, here it is, right? And then forever we change the Y by bullet speed, so it keeps on going up and up and up and up and up, right? But if we touch the meteor, or if our Y position is greater than 150, so this is around 150, right? So if we touch the meteor, or if our Y position is greater than 150, we delete the clone, meaning this entire shoot bullet will stop. And then the next time we call, you know, this, and we broadcast fire bullet. That's where I made a mistake. Okay, so it's not, we don't create a clone of ourselves when we start. We create a clone of ourselves when I receive fire bullet. So this stuff. So these three are related, and these two are related. And now the basics of our game are done. So let's take a look. Okay, can we move around? Yes, we can. Can we shoot? Yes, we can. So it seems that the bullet is 150 is a bit too much, so let's make this actually 200. You know, I think that should be good. And as you can see, when we stop and start, we move back to the middle. Maybe not that then. What about 180? No, it's still stuck. 160. Yeah, okay, that looks good. So it seems like it gets stuck if we go too far. So I think this is fine, right? So we can shoot, and then here's a cool thing. Come on. As you can see, when we shoot, we can actually, the meteor doesn't disappear, but the reason why is, of course, we didn't create the meteor code yet, and that's going to be created in the next video. So make sure you take a look out for that. If you have any questions, I know this is complicated, make sure you ask us. In the next video, we are actually going to be setting up how the score works, right here we don't increase the score, but here we will, and we'll also make the meteor be able to, you know, make the ship lose lives. So score and lives will finally be updated, and then in the fourth video we'll actually add introduction screen and you know, a win/lose screen. Okay, maybe not an introduction screen, you guys can do that yourself. Anyways, I'll see you.